I don't see it yet.
Well, we got that
And
delay.
there we go.
Are we going?
We're live.
All right. Do we have the ad or do we have actually us?
Actually, the back of your head.
Okay. Close enough. Hey everyone, this is Fiendish with Dimension Touring, and I'm here today with Odds at
Rawr.
Fablite. Rawr. And we're going to do part one of two regarding kitchens. Now, I broke this down into two parts just because things like cabinetry and false walls and stoves and sinks and stuff like that, that's going to take up an hour by itself without even talking about morphing pots and pans, morphing your own dish towels, the details that really make a kitchen stand out from everybody else's. Do we not have sound?
I think we do have sound. Hold on, let me. Nope, we have sound.
Okay. Before we get started, though, there are some contests and giveaways currently going on. The I Love This Dimension giveaway, sponsored by Nove, is going on through 26 April, and the rules and everything for that are on the forums. And what the deal is you find basically your favorite dimension on Dimension Gallery, you link it. It can't be your own.
Oh, well, so much for that.
Yeah, there goes so much for that. Uh, the next contest is getting ready to end is the Pets of Rift contest run by Cold Sprite at Greybriar. Entries for that close on 29 April, so there's just a little bit of time left on that one. And then Out of Your Treehouse, sponsored by Kula at Fablite, is going on until June 19th. So lots of contests and giveaways, and I'm sure that there's more to come. A little birdie told me that there may be a Cozy Cottage contest coming this summer.
Really,
Yeah.
really, a little birdie, huh?
Yeah, a little birdie.
I wouldn't happen to be one of those split personalities, would it?
Yeah, well, it's all it's up to brass as to what I'll be able to give away.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know what I'm shooting for.
So a bearded birdie then.
Yeah. So this is what I'm standing in, and I'm doing a shameless plug of my own work here. This is my newest build that's finished. It's called Blossom Cottage, and I kind of went nuts with the Own Your tables, and it's a
I'm gonna
dark.
interrupt you real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you move your text box on the Twitch screen like to the upper right or closer to the upper right? Because it feels like it's just like hovering.
Yeah, I have it moved so I can. Is that better?
I'll tell you in about 20 seconds. Awkward silence.
Okay. Well, I had to change it from the norm because I need access to my bags.
Yeah, it's just like where it's hovering is almost halfway down and like
Okay.
a tenth of the way in. Okay, well, continuing.
All right. So this is we're not going to spend too much time in here, but you can see that I tried to do quite a bit of detail. It looks like there's a lot of items in here. Just between the outer walls, the inner walls, and the big pieces like the stove, the cabinetry, and whatnot. There's about 170 items in that kitchen, and that was of the ones I cross sectioned. That was this was the smallest. And so from the outside, you can't really see anything, and that's why we're going to talk about false walls because we want to be able to put all these big pieces in, but not be able to see them from outside. Okay, let me get my UI back. Wrong way. So here's a cross section of that exact same kitchen. You can see I've got a lot of space on both sides because I've got a lot of stuff poking through. And this is a lot more room than I usually give myself on a kitchen. And I took it from both sides. Couldn't on this side because of course there's a window here. And this again was about 170 items. This piece right here, it's a reinforced Mathosian door. Actually works out pretty well for like stoves and ovens and stuff. These are Drumheim walls. I'm not known so much for the morphing piece, uh, but for building blocks stuff. So this one was actually a struggle for me because like there's a shit ton of bookcases and tables and whatever. This is an older one, but wherever you can pull from, it's going to be different where you're going to set your walls and why you would need something like a false wall. This kitchen here was about 200 items. I didn't pay 150 plat for that door. Minions brought it to me for free.
Well, the rest of us that don't have your marvelous minion luck.
This one, this is pretty much all building blocks, and this one was by far the most item count to make. This kitchen is close to, well, it's over 300 items when you factor in the two pantries and the island. Mostly,
Two pantries for your
yeah,
150 that door.
yeah. Well, I tell you what, it's handles and knobs and stuff that really, I mean, the item limit doesn't eat up too much until you start talking about, oh, I got all these cabinets, now I have to put a handle on it.
All the hardware. That's why I
Yeah.
can never find any damn silver steins. Because all your freaking kitchens.
Yeah. Oh, I usually keep a stack of silver steins. This item count about the kitchen makes me think about IKEA. Yeah, yeah, it's all about that. Now this stove I cannot, or not the stove, the sink, I can't claim the sink. I straight up stole it from Odds. Thanks, Odds.
Aww. Even special thing to shoot something of mine for a change.
So a lot of times where there's no window is going to dictate for me where the stove goes. Because I know that um, when I use like the connectors for sinks and stuff, that's going to need to have that's going to have some room behind it. And the same would apply for bathrooms or whatever. So that's where, and if, usually I do an interior wall separate from an exterior wall. So that's going to be easy. Yep, the empty mining carts. Hey, I've used my share of those too in a lot of old builds. Not so much anymore. So, what dictates how a kitchen is going to look is basically the theme of the house. So, we've got one over here that I've got just a shell. So, we can do the hands on piece. And I've got the living room kind of done so it can tell me basically what kind of kitchen am I making. Because the kitchen, 99.9% of the time, the kitchen's the last room I make.
Let me tell you this woman's priorities. I came in here earlier to drop off my build, and there was a house with just a toilet. I was like, all right.
Well, when I have an empty frame, and I've got my rooms cut out, the toilet and the fireplace and a little bed or whatever is just to kind of remind myself, hey, this is what this room is supposed to be. This is what this room is supposed to be, so on and so forth. And as you can see right now, the kitchen is by far the biggest room in here. Plain old boring limestone, but yeah,
It works. It works for a
it
lot of
it
things.
worked for this. Um,
Yeah.
so now this is where I'm going to have the bulk of my space that I can pull out. It's going to be on this side wall where there's no window. I've got a little bit here, but there's a constraint of the window, and I don't want the proportion of the wall to be off. You know what I mean? I want the windows to kind of look centered on this wall, but if they're not, then eh.
I'm
But
surprised
most,
you went with two or a not custom made window.
well, say if I was going to put this into like a Kestrel's or a Stillmore Vale or whatever, this would work for like a lower item count. But
Ah,
but I mean like the roof by itself is 37 pieces, so this is not going to go in some places. And for testing a testing dimension, I'm not really going to make my own.
kitchens are spendy on item count.
They
It's
are
insane.
they are, and that's another reason why they're usually the last room that I do, because this is where I you know okay, I'm in a 2,500 item build. I've got 600 items left.
Well,
So,
technically, it's the second to last because every time I see a build of yours, you're like, well, I was going to do a bathroom, but screw it. I don't have the item count. I'm
yeah,
going to put a door there
yeah.
now.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. The bathroom is like the first. If I know that I'm gonna have to get rid of a room, the bathroom is the first room to go. Just because I don't like doing bathrooms, anyways.
Oh, so that's why I got priority today because it always gets the shaft. All right, makes sense.
So I'm just gonna stick with what I've already got, and I'm sorry I have to use. Oh, I don't know why I didn't do that. So now, how far do I want to pull this in? Uh, well, remember too, the bigger the room, the more items it's going to take to fill it. So it can be kind of narrow. And I try to keep my blocks to a standardized size as much as possible. I go for the thickness of a plank at maximum scale.
How does that make that standardized?
What if I'm going for that same thickness all the way around?
Yeah, what exactly do you mean by that? Because that can be a little confusing.
That means that if I'm using, say I've got planks on the back wall, but I want to use a rectangle here, I can either set the rectangle to the size of that plank, which would be a scale of 8, or I use two different rectangles and make them match,
Okay.
which in the long run is going to save pieces because I'm not mixing and matching.
Trying to get everything flush.
Yeah, with different thicknesses. So if I say this is how thick I want the walls, then that's how thick they all are.
Yeah, and you know that's actually a big deal, and we don't think about it too much. But before my brother left, I came in here and I showed him all your little kitchens. And what's the thing he commented on? How the hell did she get her walls to look like that? Like around the door frames and windows.
Yeah, because they're all the same. Even whether it's planks, whether it's rectangles. I've been doing a lot of work lately with two-story houses. So once you start talking about adding that second floor and getting it to where stuff doesn't poke through on the bottom, then it really becomes a challenge, to get that same thickness all the way across. Did that even make sense? Sure.
Hmm.
Okay.
But for today's tutorial, we're just going to focus on one story.
Yes. Well, because it's only supposed to be one room. So the living room says what kind of theme I'm shooting for here, which is kind of really feminine. So really feminine, really kind of going for the girly, pretty stuff. Yeah, Jade, normally the kitchen and the bathroom are the only places where I'll ever use a false wall. Most of the time, I just don't. I don't have, like, I'll go into some places and the house will be just massive. Half of the rooms will be hidden in some form or fashion because there's basically what would be a whole nother, the space for, like, say, one of my houses tucked in behind it. So, of course, now we got minions that bring us things like this, which if I was using a Sanguine Shores, um, I'll drop this thing in a heartbeat just because it's one item. But are you really, most of the fun in doing a kitchen, and I use that term loosely, is being able to customize your own stuff. I don't do the stove thing that well, so
I think that thing is freaking adorable.
yeah. What I do like for stoves are these things right here, the stone table. You can get these when you can find them on the auction house. They're not too bad. Otherwise, if you're getting them off the store, they're kind of expensive. Now, I tend to make a stove, uh, use one, and use it over and over and over and over and over again. So one of the one of the things that's hardest to do in a kitchen is to get the proportions right. Well, I mean, I think that's probably one of the hardest things to do in any kind of house, especially, is to get those proportions right.
That's one thing I can say, and not to be judgy. It's just a fact. Is there's a lot of proportioning issues in a lot of the dims I visit,
Yeah,
and usually stuff is just way too big.
it is. It is. If you
And I'm
look
a
at,
bommy. I'm on max height bommy, and I'm like, holy crap! This counter comes to my chest.
if you look at, I know the last time when we did cozy cottages last year, 90% of the problems that we ran into and the ones that we looked at was it was proportions. They were just some of them were just bad, proportion wise, and they might have been a great house otherwise, but the count like the
It's not. Yeah,
cabinets
it's not.
were 10 miles above
Yeah.
my head.
If the whole place is proportioned within itself,
That's
compared to all the
fine.
other items, that's fine. But when you've got a table that comes to your knees, and then, you've got to use that table to get to the cabinets, no bueno.
Yeah. Okay. So by using those interior walls set in from my exterior wall, that allowed me to save a lot of items by just uh, not having this big this big rectangle come outside anywhere. And it saved me more items because it only took one piece to cover the stovetop. Now you don't have to um, use these. You can use whatever you want. I've seen some pretty good stoves morphed from building blocks, but usually it's something else. And then I'm going to give credit to Holly for the Canon stovepipes because everybody uses them, including myself. You need a lot of room to cover these. Yeah, tables, gravestones. There's all kinds of things that you can use for morphine, and this is a lot of times why you're going to put a second table underneath this one to kind of cover up this stuff here. It's probably not perfectly straight up and down, but it's pretty close.
Good enough.
Yeah, and that's an Infernal Dawn cannon. I use quite a few of these, so you probably not going to find one in the auction house on Greybriar. Ever. And so you got a basic stove shell here now where we can put the sink on this side and cabinets on either side of the stove. So I had thought to use some of these for the cabinets because they're kind of pretty. but eh, they're blue. They're too blue. So I'll go to my old standby. And don't laugh at my bags.
I'm laughing at the fact that every time we stream, you have less plat. I think you're the only person in the game that actually gets broker each week.
Yeah, I'll blame minions for that. Because there is some stuff I do buy, not necessarily those doors, which I didn't intend for them to be used in a stove. They were supposed to be shrunk down and made windows out of. Um,
Ooh.
but you just kind of get it centered. Because honestly, most people aren't going to notice if it's not. And of course, you could add um, a second thing on top of this one, or not, depending on, again, the item limit dictates all things. Hail to the item limit. I'm sorry, I wasn't really trying to have my bags open this. These are
I
okay.
don't think anybody's bothered by it.
I am,
Personally,
because
I like being able to sneak a peek at all your little kitties.
hey, look, I
Like
did
freaking
this.
stacks of what are those? Those little candle holder thingies with the twisty turnies.
The vases.
It's ridiculous.
Well, when this minion change came around, I for sure had to start up another guild bank to hold all this crap. Mostly
Yeah, I had
my building blocks. So that works.
so what is that? Like a burner?
That's yeah, sure.
Well, what sure,
Yeah,
what
I
was
mean
it supposed to be?
it is supposed to be like a burner.
Okay.
Um, and it's the thing with using big vases like this though is one, now you got to find a way to hide the actual vase. Because all I want is this edge here. I mean, there's all kinds of other stuff that you can use for burners.
Like, I
There's
don't know, discs?
huh,
The discs?
discs, uh, filled mugs, the underside of a filled mug. Um, these things, the striped braziers. And then I can just put a tile in it.
One of your little kitchens in there has like 3 items per burner. I was going there peeking at that and I was like, damn, this is sharp looking, but it's like what, 12 pieces just for the top of the stuff?
And then you got those if you want to be a little fancier. Uh, that's an unlit striped brazier. And it's easier to hide as far as the bottom goes. Depending on your loyalty, Vervain jars would work. I mean, wrong bank.
Why don't you just bring that damn bank inside?
Because then I can't turn around, and that annoys me even more.
Oh my god,
Because I like
you
to hear
could
you
set it
complain.
you could set it on the couch next to me. And when I see you coming, I'll open it for you. You'll be ready. Be like a team.
There you go. That's in one item right there. This is my preferred thing right here, is a filled mug. Just because the underside has got some nice little textures. And yeah, I mean, there's burners where this is why I don't like making modern stoves because making burners and knobs and shit like that is all really really super uh, item intensive. Like this stove, let me find it. This stove is 40 40 some pieces just by itself.
Oh yeah, this is the one I was talking about.
Yeah, because here you go. Here's some of the items. You've got this, and none of them are real expensive items. You got a bronze and iron cauldron, a black disc, and of course the filled mug. When it's set up high enough, it looks like a lot like a gas, like the
Hmm.
like the gas piece.
You could even put a flame effect in there, really get it going.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but if you really wanted to, like, say, do the tips of the, you know how like you have the the pieces in on the inside of the burner, where you would basically set your pan. Let me find it. There it is. I know, I know. I'm doing it just to irritate you now.
No, I'm just ignoring you.
Oh, shoot. Of course, I had them all still selected. If you take another one of the bronze and iron cauldrons, flip it upside down, and then kind of scale it out, now you've got uh, the little pieces that go inside, and you could add more or less, or however you want to do it. And then, of course, if I was, say, making a pot of coffee or whatever and putting it on this stove, I would actually get rid of all that burner stuff and recover those items. I mean, usually if I was doing a stove like that, I would want to cover probably three of the burners and just leave one. So if you cover the burners with two or three pans of stuff that's cooking, um, you're not gonna see the burner at all. And then of course, if you're looking for attention to detail, if you have stuff on the stove, then your little knobs, and these are Earthscape Amphora, you just turn those. So now you know you got stuff. That burner's hot. Don't touch it. What was it? What? Why are you laughing at me?
Oh,
So yeah,
I'll go put a fish on it.
yeah.
Make a snack.
So using tables and stuff is a good way to save some of the item limit. Um, except for these, I kind of cried a little tear with every dreambolt I broke down uh, to make all these tables again. I like things like mahogany bookcases for cabinetry because of the texture of the wood. I don't necessarily like the texture of the mahogany building block. It's really orange. To me, it looks really orange. As far as the own your tables go, I don't like the tops, I but I do like the edging, and I'm late to the party on using uh, these tables. And these tables are why there's so much space on the other side of this wall here. Of this wall here.
Did you show them the other side of that wall?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, because that's a lot of planning to use those bad boys.
yeah. It's it's ugly on the outside. Everyone just
But
be
it's
aware of
helpful to
that.
see,
Yeah,
because people may start building with that and go, "Oh, this is horrible. How am I going to fix this? I can't do this." Oh, yeah, you can. It's
yeah,
it's totally manageable.
yeah. You can. You just, leave some room on the backside, and then go nuts. You know, anything that'll fit back there.
Just cover up the ugly. Nobody will
Yeah.
know it's there.
Nobody will ever know. I mean, somebody that's experienced and comes in will be like, "Oh, wow, they did a good job of, you know, planning to hide all this because there's no sign on the outside or whatever that, you know, there's 15 cannons and a ship stuck in the wall." Wow, somebody used
It's
just
like, oh, look at this massive house, and you get inside, and there's like just a kitchen. You're like, what the hell?
I guess where I've seen some places like that. But it's all personal taste is going to have a lot to do with it. Uh, so I mean, like this stove here is really, really, really basic. I would love to.
Well, yeah, it has one burner and no knobs.
Well, yeah. Well, honestly, how many times out questing have you seen a modern stove?
I'm a Dimensionaire. I don't, it's like I don't even leave my house.
How
Like I don't quest.
how many times in game have you seen a modern anything? Magitech doesn't count because that's
Oh.
more fantasy than modern. What's that?
Hold on. I'm writing it down. Hold on. Okay. Carry the four, divide by. I'll have to
Yeah,
get back to you.
yeah. That's what I thought. Okay, so, but all I'm gonna say is, take your tables, your boxes, your chests, whatever. Experiment. Find out, what works best for you, and you know, how you can do it. I always say the same thing every time. You got to experiment, and it's true. And go tour, you know, go go tour and maybe get some ideas about
Just
how to
go
use
steal
things.
somebody else's
I'm
idea.
not saying steal it, and I'm
I
guilty of it.
did.
I'm guilty of it. Uh, I tell you what, I've never seen anybody whose stuff has gotten stolen as much as Holly.
Well, that's what she gets for being brilliant
Well,
and making adorable stuff.
yeah. I mean,
I don't know,
I don't
between you and
advocate.
her.
I don't advocate just taking something from anybody.
Oh, well, I'm a rogue. That's kind of what I do. Some people's kids.
Some people's kids.
So what are you working on now?
Uh, Cabinets, kind of. Some butt ugly cabinets. What I said I wasn't going to use because they're too blue. And here they are. Actually, let's do that. And we can take this one and pull it over. Eh. Now these are pretty much complete.
I figured by the
No, that was me griping because, of course, it didn't line out right.
Oh, I like that. I think that should be like, you should make that sound more often. Fancy ass cabinets.
Pretty much. And with the little red knobs on here, you're not even going to have to put anything extra in. You can just say that that's where you open the dadgum cabinet from. And if somebody doesn't like it, oh well. They'll, I
They can
mean,
just stay the hell out of your dadgum cabinets.
yeah. And I don't think I only have a couple more of those, so I wouldn't do this entire kitchen with those. But I mean, what you use, the lighting you use, and still take this frame here. Now, say I want to try a different texture. That's where my little bookcases come in. Oh, this is going to be some wonky rotation. I can feel it. And yeah, I rotate things to see what Tinker Tools tells me the rotation is. That saves a whole lot of guesswork on my part. Push that back a little bit. Then I've got those two. Which will also work. And then for like a handle, you need use the silver steins. My favorite one is still the orange cork jug, because it's hard to beat 1 gold a piece.
Is there an achievement for literally having every bank vault unlocked?
No, and this is the only one that I have every vault unlocked on. My main doesn't even have every vault unlocked.
Well, after 4.1, I got to 10 and I got a bag. I was like, that's kind of an ironic achievement prize.
Yeah.
You bought so much space, we're going to give you a little bit more space.
Yeah, and that bag wasn't even big enough.
No, it was a small ass bag. I was like, gee, thanks. It was totally worth the 1,800 million credits I spent.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't.
that it's sad when you get the intermediate pack just so you can get a 40 slot bag.
I know. All right. $20 for a 40 slot bag on all my characters? Sold.
Yeah, and don't feel bad about it.
No, not even a little bit.
So upper cabinets are a different story because you don't have the floor. You don't have the floor there. And upper cabinets are where you see a lot of those same proportion problems. Right here, Whatcha is about as tall as a Kalari can get, and this is too high. I want the base of the cabinet to be about where where in real life your cabinets are roughly, unless you're really short, they're roughly even level with your head. Like tall enough that they'll take your head off if you're not paying attention. That's about how they are in my house.
Jesus, how aggressively do you open your cabinets?
It's not me, it was my kids when they lived here. Those little
Uh,
jokers had no kind of situational awareness of who was around them.
decapitated by.
And I think they may have been trying to do that to each other. I'm going to kill you with this cabinet.
Fair enough. It was totally an accident, Mom.
No, it wasn't. So then once you're talking about upper cabinets, you can have them the same height as the lower cabinets like this. You can use the same template or whatever. Usually push them in just a little bit because upper cabinets tend to not go all the way across like your lower ones do. And then again, if I want to use the bookcases, I would have to shrink it down some.
Where's your little play-by-play marker thingy?
What do you mean? I
Last
don't.
time you had
Oh,
a really.
my. I don't need it this time.
Oh, but it was cool.
And then I can cover up that seam where those two bookcases overlap with the cabinet door. And this crappy thing about mahogany bookcases is that they're not level on the sides. And of course, you can use building blocks or whatever if you want, or um, let's see, you've got
I just, I just saw like your head zoom past on my screen. I guess we're going to the bank.
not that one. Nope, not that one. That one.
See, you could have used the marker here so we know which that you were talking about.
Hell, I don't even know which that I was talking about now.
Mm.
I'm old. I forgot. Oh, there we go. Unfortunately, at the smallest size, these are too long. But this would work well if I was doing like a long row. Then I could just use the piece that's already existing as this. Alright, just for odds. If this was a long row, then I could just use this part right here as its own cabinet entry. And then add in a jug or whatever to make it. Now I would have to bring this piece down and then shrink this wall and this wall. There we go. Happy now?
I have no idea what the hell you were circling, but maybe when I watch it on YouTube later, I'll get it. But I appreciate it. Oh, yeah, that was perfect. That wasn't very profane, though. I was hoping for something naughty.
I think builders build cabinets their height, not the height of a 5'5" woman. I would agree with that. I miss my sons not because I enjoyed their company, but because they could reach the top cabinet.
Oh, not even surprised.
Hey, I waited 20 years to get them out of my house, eating all my food.
That's all that dimension money that they were just putting right in their bellies.
Yeah. Hey, my
Damn
grocery
kids.
bill went down a lot. So one of the problem areas when it comes to building a cabinet is going to be the corners, and how you want to deal with the corner is, entirely up to you. Like I would probably just get rid of this whole section right here. And get rid of these because I could just use a rectangle to fill that in and only use one piece. And again, if you wanted to not have the blue, you can, um, you know, see what you do like. I would probably just use the blue if I was using these. So when it comes to doing this corner, I can either just flip those around, say copy that. Let me see how many. Yes, I have enough. tingles. God dang it. Okay, so we're not going to do that.
You're taking the building of that cabinet quite seriously. I cannot try those guys, damn it.
Well, I ran out of. I have so many freaking building blocks sitting in here that they're like not in my bags anymore. So now we're going to, when you're talking about building in a sink, because
Oh God, all of this kitchen. I'm so freaking hungry right now. You haven't even started morphing food. I think I'm gonna
yeah,
mute and hit the kitchen.
that's gonna next time is not morphin food this time. I already taken too long, just with this stuff. Okay, and there she goes to get food anyways. That crazy woman. Okay, so the basics of a sink. I'll just use limestone. I like to make the sink low to start. And the sink is usually the first thing that I'll make um, on that particular wall or wherever I'm going to put it at. And it's going to, a lot of times it's easier. Um, wrong thing. It's easier just making what's called an apron sink. But if you want one that's all the way inset, do the end. Avoid that. And that. And that. Bring that up some, because otherwise I'd be like way too deep. What I do want is to give myself more room for my fixtures. Try to match that up. And then whatever I want to use here, um, I'll just throw that out there because I got it.
Oh my god. I just grabbed the Twitch screen
Mm-hmm.
and tried to pan around to get a better view of what you were doing. This sink is so fascinating.
Huh. No, I don't think it really is. And but I mean that's the basis of it right there. And if I wanted to add in any more cabinets, all I have to do is, like say if I want to show off the or show that there's you're under the plumbing stuff is going to be under here. And I know the black doesn't match, but it's because I ran out of white. And it's the same principle even for a sink. Now, if you're using a specialty item um, like these, because you can't shrink these tables down enough, if I try to do an inset sink with these, it would look stupid. So it's the same basic principle to use it just with an apron sink, except for putting this table underneath the sink bottom. And same thing over here with this one with the red pedestals. The exception is with this one, I think I ran out of pedestals while I was building this, so there's redwood planks behind it. In the build, there in the actual dimension that this is used in, there's enough crap back there on the counters that you can't tell that they're not uh, pedestals.
I think this is probably one of the most interesting kitchens I've seen.
Which one?
This pedestal one.
Uh huh. The red one.
Man, like I would never have thought to put all these colors and textures together, but it looks pretty freaking cool.
Well, I
Like, so
really
there's no right or wrong way to
no,
do it. You can
no.
literally do whatever the hell you want.
You really can. You really can. And I mean, just because not everybody makes kitchens like Holly, don't feel bad about it. Just you got to do what you do. You can be influenced uh, by her. I think she probably influenced more people when it comes to building dimensions than maybe anybody but Sailor. And
I love how you say like Holly, like you aren't one of the top people that are ideas are ripped off. It's your humility is nice though. I like when you're humble.
well, I
Just
mean, there's a lot of people. Everybody has their own strong area. And I'm gonna tell you that kitchens and shit are not my strongest area.
yours are definitely big glowing bushes.
But I mean, like when I go looking at kitchens, when I go specifically looking at kitchens for inspiration, I'll go to hers and look. Um, there was one that she did where she used like a globe as the top and bottom of the stove, and I've seen that stove used in more places. Now I had actually borrowed that idea. I got rid of it because it was just it looked too much like it was pretty obviously taken from her, and I got rid of it. But I mean, that like you can always use something similar. And I started using the Onier tables because I don't remember seeing those out a whole lot. And then as far as the stone tables go, shit, everybody uses those. So it's not really a big deal. But I mean, you got multiple items that you can choose from to build whatever you want from, including uh, just plain old building blocks. That's all that's in, except for like the burners and stuff. That's all that's in this one. The modern one is just building blocks, bunch of freaking squares and planks, and I think maybe even, I've seen them done with cubes or whatever. But this is so if I want to have the oven open, all I got to do is get rid of this and put, say, some glass or whatever in instead.
So are you pretty much done for today's teachings?
Yeah, I mean, cause yeah,
Well, I didn't know we weren't going to get to morphing food. I guess I can.
yeah,
I made a kitchen. And I warned Fiendish that we should probably show it last because it's going to be kind of a high bar to reach.
yeah.
So I'll show it if you think you can handle it. I figured you guys would probably see all this fancy stuff that she did and wanted something maybe a little more, well, at least closer to my building skill.
Whatever.
So, so here we go. This is more my type of kitchen, personally.
But this is cute though. I mean, I know that there's bugs and the trash can is full and you never wash dishes
I don't have to. I have dogs.
and there's some shit growing in your food.
And I've got a couple of science experiments here in the fridge.
Yeah.
It's like my own little terrarium in there.
But it's cute though. I mean, and it probably wasn't a whole lot of items.
Oh shit, I don't remember now. I want to say maybe 160, 170. And all of the cabinetry is literally just building blocks.
Yeah.
The fridge, just building blocks. The stove, just building blocks. Oh, and as far as modern stoves, one.
Yep.
It's a glass top, that's why you don't see any burners.
Oh, they want to know where the maggots are.
Oh, y'all can just piss off. I hope you choked on that coffee. I'm not that filthy. We've got some flies over here.
Yeah. So the maggots will be following.
All right, so see, there's no right or wrong way
Nope.
to build a kitchen.
Nope. It's all about your personal taste and whatever suits your theme, your budget, your build. As long as you like it, it really shouldn't matter what anybody else thinks.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
I personally like having mushrooms growing out of my leftover Chinese food.
Okay. God, though, I bet it stinks. Ugh. All
I
right.
didn't think of that.
Ready to give some stuff
Well,
away?
now I'm grossed out. Oh, yeah, except for somebody mentioned the frickin' maggots, and I accidentally closed Twitch because I had a little grossed out spasm. So I don't. If you want to win something, type in chat. If you don't want to win something, don't type pass because that's going to qualify you.
Yeah. Well, honestly, uh, there's no takebacks. I'm not playing this game anymore. If you win, even you can either let the code sit there and expire or give it to somebody
Or you can
else.
give it to me
Yeah.
because I know people. All right, so here in about 10 seconds, I'm going to start rolling. Well, basically, when I'm done chewing this bite, I'm going to start rolling because I'm classy. All right, here we go. How many do we have?
10.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I don't know if I can count that high. I can take my shoes off. Here we go.
Wonder Charm. Mama Silver. Windeath. Kula. Pterodon. Red 6. Sparkman.
How many? I lost track. I wasn't even
That's
one,
one,
two.
two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Why is it not? It's not letting me roll anymore. What the hell?
You broke.
Hold
Did you
on.
break Nightbot?
It said there's no eligible winners to do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Huh. We must not have very many people on the channel then.
No, I don't think so.
Or maybe they just didn't say anything in chat.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll see if that. Let's see. Let's see if that does it. Oh, it didn't give me credit. Didn't add me. Son of a bitch. Yeah, there's nobody else eligible,
Okay. Well, congrats to everyone.
including me.
You already have one.
Yeah, but my brother doesn't. I use his. Never mind.
Oh.
Oh wait,
Okay.
hold
Well.
on, hold on, hold on. Congrats, worker. New one and a half lumber.
All right. Well, I don't know if fun was the word I would use, Jade. Um, I seem like I could explain this a whole lot better. I'm always, if there's any feedback or something that, uh,
That she
any
can do.
suggestions, please, let me know. Let Odds know. She'll yell at me. Whatever. Um, so next time we'll be back and we'll be in our little test kitchen over here doing uh, the details. The details, whether it's, food, little chairs, little knick-knacky stuff, all the little details that really make a place stand out from its peers. So as soon as we go out, I'll send these codes out. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Have a great weekend.
See you later, Gators.